Hearing someone say you can't do it and you do it. You know what I mean? Just realizing, that no matter what a score is, down 20, down 30, the confidence of getting that win by any means necessary.
Yeah. Welcome to another edition of No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. I'm Mike Botticello, and I'm joined by a guy that always has something to say, Gilbert Arenas.
Me?
That's you.
Me, yes.
I don't know if
I'm not
anybody's
gonna
ever
go third
mentioned that
party.
before.
I'm not gonna go like that. I'm just gonna say me. I'm not gonna be
That's almost worse.
that guy that like, yeah, Gilbert Arenas, talking third person.
I thought you were gonna say, I love me some me.
I do, like T.O. Yeah, but I don't wanna come
That's
off
his
as-
line.
I don't wanna come off as too cocky, since I'm older. That was my younger days.
Gil, today we're joined by somebody that you know that you've worked with for a few years now, and you've literally seen him grow right before your eyes. Ben Shtolzberg. Welcome to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas.
Welcome.
Thank you. So back to what I was just saying, that you've worked with Ben here in LA. He's now coming into his junior year at Notre Dame. And he's had a cool story because you made an impact as a freshman, starting varsity, freshman PG, and then there's a bunch of seniors on that team. Who was on that team? Zaire Williams?
Zaire Williams, Julian Rishwin, he went to Boston College. Those are the two main players.
Okay, so that was your freshman year. And then sophomore year,
So sophomore, we had 11 seniors freshman year. So sophomore year, we're going into a totally new team. Everyone's young. Team was made up of sophomores, juniors. And I had to take like a leadership role. I had to take the scoring role. So I had to kind of do everything. And so I kind of welcomed it and everything turned out good.
and Gil, just his sophomore line, 23 points a game, 6.8 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
Guys went to the state semis.
We made it to the third round of Division I playoffs. We played Riverside Poly, which is a good team, and we lost. But yeah. We also
So sophomore year,
I know.
we set the state record for threes in a season. It's another cool thing. Yeah.
I made it to the playoffs. First round, we played Crenshaw, got kicked out. That was it. Second year, Westchester, first round, got kicked out. The Valley wasn't the Valley now.
Yeah, the Valleys.
Yeah, the Valley now was it Valley versus what?
Inland Empire.
Inland Empire, IE?
Yeah.
Before it was just LA and then everybody else was just washed.
Yeah.
So just to hear like the Valley is like the spot now is like,
Yeah.
okay, there
I
we
like
go,
it.
young fellas.
And you can also relate to what Ben's going through, is your sophomore year, all those upperclassmen are gone, it's underclassmen, and you got to take the team on your shoulders. You're a leader.
Yeah, so we had Zaire Williams our first year. And with him leaving, like, there's a lot of shots open now.
Yeah.
So I worked on my game that summer, became like a different type of player, and I took over that role. And I also had to take over many different roles, like leading the team, getting rebounds. We didn't have a big team. And so, yeah.
So after your first year, like with all the seniors, what role did you have then?
So the first year, my role was kind of like the point guard, create plays, offense type style that can shoot. Second year, I kind of emerged into just a scorer who can pass. Because that's kind of the role I had to take. We didn't really have the best team, so I had to take that role. It's funny because we had Zaire, and after Zaire left, everyone counted us out. They said, you guys aren't gonna be anything next year, you guys are young. And we really we had a lot of challenges and we pushed through and we had a great season. And it was great.
The thing that you have in your back pocket was your freshman year, you came in and you're a freshman point guard running the team. And they all leave for your sophomore year. So you're already prepared as a leader, which usually freshmen aren't in that category yet. But then you're there, boom, sophomore year. For your coach, he'd probably be grateful that was the situation, so it worked out.
Yeah, that's great because, after your freshman year, there's a spot open and that's to be the man. And you step right into it and, you handle your business. Now, you're going into your junior year and now you have to turn it up another notch.
Yeah.
And that's really all that that's important that, success last year was cool.
But now we got to get more success.
Now you got to have more.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was my freshman year, I sat on the bench in JV, and I played I think 12 total minutes the whole season. It was a good 12 though. I ain't gonna lie, it was a good 12. I think I had 9 points in one of those games, like 6 minutes. I had 9 points. Back then it was like I wish I was on B's and C's. So I was too good for B's and C's, not good enough for JV. I was in that mode.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I wish I would have played B's and C's, so I can average like 40.
Yeah.
I didn't have to pass them the ball, but I ended up making JV and just sat the bench and then got so angry and just trained like a madman that whole summer, played in adult leagues, spent my money for the adult leagues. And then I got seen by a guy named Eric Brown in an adult league, and he said, you should try out for, the Grant High School. I was like, oh yeah, I live across the street from Grant. Okay. Tried out, said, you're gonna be our varsity point guard. So we have like the little summer league, like the little preseason summer league thing, and I played with him in the summer, and then had 21 against a guy named Isaiah Thomas. He was like the guy here. Yeah. And had 21
another
against him.
Isaiah Thomas.
He was another Isaiah Thomas. He was light skinned. And my coach pulled me out and said, hey, you're gonna be an NBA player. Get out of here. And he was like, yeah. So when the school started, he kicks our center off, which was Tyson Chandler's cousin. His name is George. Kicked him off. And then he kicked off our starting shooting guard, kicked him off, and then told our small forward, Robert Lozano, he's like, hey, either you can say you played with an NBA player, or you can leave
That's
too.
crazy.
So he just kicked everybody off and just gave me the team, said, I don't want nobody poisoning his mind. Yeah. So it was like,
that's got to give you a lot of confidence.
what?
Yeah.
I went from playing on 9 minutes in JV to just getting the whole team and just say, here, do you. Like, oh, okay.
When you put in the work, that's why.
That's all it's about. It's, just about just putting in that work. Like when I was doing the academy and you were there, and just to see how hard you were going every possession, every minute of it. And I know some of the drills was a little bit different, because I was a point, I trained like a shooting guard. Yeah. So most of my drills was catch, shooting, run, and shooting. Yeah. So that's how I trained. I trained like a shooting guard because I'm gonna have the ball. So now if I can get these movements down of, coming off screens, doing this, it actually helped my shooting. Yeah. So, when I seen you and I was like, he's really talented. Like you can see he has that, that fire, that will to get better.
One thing you just mentioned, so training, the difference between training as a point guard, training as a two guard. Point guard, you would think a lot of the training is ball handling, creating your shot off the dribble, looking like to facilitate, whereas the two, it's stuff that's V cuts, coming off screens. But really you should do both.
I think nowadays the game has really changed. Point guards like Steph, they need to know how to run off a screen and catch and shoot. So what we've been kind of doing everything. So we'd have a day where we just go off pick and roll, learning reads right off the pick and roll. And then we'll have another day where we just work on coming off screens and learning different footworks into shots.
The reason completing your game as a guard is because every level someone's coming. Right? Like your junior year, another guard might come. Or you might want to play with another guard that you guys, but you guys are the same. Yeah. Right? You might go into your senior year and some guy comes in. College. So what ends up happening is you don't want to be a player that can only play a certain way. Like if you're used to playing pick and rolls and now that whole league is playing zone, everything you've taught yourself does not translate. So what ends up happening is like if you see Steph, as deadly he is with the ball and pick and rolls, when he don't have the ball, he's just as deadly. Yeah. So you have to train in ways. So if another point guard comes in and he's a pass-first point guard, it's no beef there because they can put you to the two because you're just effective running off screens.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to be able to, you want to be like the CJ McCullough and Dame Leonard at every single level. Like, you don't have to worry about a guy coming in and you guys are fighting for that position where you can like, oh, just move to this. But you can put 3-guard rotation because we all play in different realms.
Is that something that went into Steph where I think of Davidson Steph in college, right? When he was unlimited range that he has now in the NBA, was it because he was facing zones and he needs to, he was saying, I can actually pull up from beyond the NBA because in college, the college three, everyone's just guarding that.
Well, I think something we were just talking about actually, in Davidson, he wasn't punished for anything that he was doing. So he was able to shoot all those shots, and confidence-wise, that probably built him up. And now in the NBA, he feels confident that he can shoot those, you know?
Yeah, you know, like confidence starts from, you know, an early age, but confidence starts from success. Seeing yourself do it over and over and over. You know, training, putting in the hours, and then letting it show in the game. And that's why I always said, you know, with coaches, you know, you can't handcuff players to your vision of what they are. Because your vision of what they are versus the vision that they have for themselves is two different things. So if this kid is doing 3 hours of skill development work and this, and when he tries the moves in a game and you yank him, those 3 to 6 hours of training goes down the drain because you took the confidence of everything he thought he was getting better at, you took it away. You got to let the person explore the ability.
But for a coach, that's a fine line to walk because a coach has a plan. They have their strategy. You are who you are as a player, and they can't let you be completely unleashed. You have to agree with that and follow
You're
in line.
not going to be a good coach if you go by that motto.
No, I'm just saying historical coaches.
Historical coaches from what, 60s, 70s, and 80s?
No, I'm
like
not talking like Bobby Knight. No,
Bobby Knights and stuff?
But the idea is you are who you are as a player. You have your identity and your perspective on the game, but there's 13, 14 of those on a team.
I don't think, in talking about coaches, I don't think a coach should have a system and try to fit players into that system. I feel like a good coach would look at his players, look at their strengths, and build a system that can coexist with their strengths. And that's kind of what makes a team great, you know?
See, that might be the perfect coach.
No. So what happens now is this. Back a long time ago, there was really no skill development. Like either you worked on your own, but you know, a coach is team systems, right? So now that everyone has trainers, everyone's skill is increasing. As a coach, you have to understand what everybody's doing, what everybody's getting better at, what they're training on. So when you're putting in systems, it benefits everyone's skill that they're working on outside of your system. But the fact that most of these coaches aren't kind of hurts certain players because you're not adjusting. Like the skilled, talented players, they always find a way. They always loophole any system because that's what makes them, you know, that's what makes them good because they can loophole through any type of system. But if you don't have the ability to adjust on the fly, because I don't believe a coach can make a great player. His system can benefit from his style. You can build a system around a style like a D'Antoni around a Steve Nash, but Steve Nash is already Steve Nash. James Harden is always, but you
that system can make the player shine.
Yeah, you can make them shine because you're highlighting their true gift.
Yeah.
But players make coaches better because if you see the talent, you build your system around his talent, it becomes easier. You know, if you got a guy who can do 1-4 flat and you don't have to call a play and be, you know, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna do a back. If you don't have to do that,
why do
1-4 flat, do you?
That's what I mean. Those old school coaches were doing that. X's and O's. You stay here. You know, like now I think there's modern players, there's modern coaches that know that modern players are so skilled right now that they have to be able to work with that skill set.
Yeah, you have to. Like what's the coach, Syracuse?
Jim Boeheim.
The fact that he's still running the zone, don't know why he still has a job. I really don't know why he still has a job because in theory, Syracuse players should, like, it will hurt them going to the next level.
Yeah.
Because
I was just gonna cut you off there. Think about who's the best player that's ever come out of Syracuse.
Melo?
Melo.
There you go. one and done. He was a great recruit, but that was the one year that they won the championship, and he was a one-on-one player.
Yeah,
where that 2-3 is the system for college.
Yeah, because if you're putting a 2-3 system in, that means your whole defensive strategy is built on placement. So none of you guys know how to play one-on-one defense. You guys really don't know how to play help defense because you're already set in the what's the name. So what ends up happening is when you translate to the NBA, you actually went backwards.
Yeah.
So it can hurt, a type of player due to the systems.
So Gil, we're joined here by Ben Shtolzberg, and we talked about you've had this great journey so far, 2 years of high school, and you're at this place now where you're now an upperclassman. That's a game changer in high school. So your role as a leader on the team, it requires you to be more active with your teammates as a leader. So what are you doing coming into your junior year as a leader?
I think I kind of like the way I'm thinking about leadership now is I want to be able to push my players to become something greater. Want to make sure that I lead by example. One thing that I saw in the Jordan documentary that I was watching is that Jordan never made any of his players do anything he wasn't doing. So I want to be able to be that person where that if I'm working out in the weight room, I'm getting that work and I'm going hard, I'll be able to tell my players, you guys got to go harder. So that if we all work together, we all go hard together, we'll be able to be better as a whole.
Since I've watched Jordan growing up, I know his personality. I know Kobe's personality. There's this real fine line between that alpha and everyone else. People get turned off by the Jordan and the Kobe's. Like if you heard the players, Kobe's last year, it's like, oh, we don't like him because what you demand,
Greatness,
they don't have yet. So what ends up happening is the more you fight, sometimes the more they buck. And it's kind of damn if you do, damn if you don't type of method, because as the alpha, as an engine, you already have it. You don't need them to tell you, do 10 more push-ups. But you got to tell them to do it. So you have to figure out who wants it and who doesn't. And it's one of those things where you gotta, if you guys want to be great, you guys want to do this, I shouldn't tell you this. You should be willing to do it yourself. And you figure out like who you can talk to that respond. Some guys, you're talking about 12, 13 different personalities. And it's your job to try to figure out what makes them tick, what makes them don't like. Sometimes I can yell at you and you respond, boom, go out there and play angry, and I can yell at him, he shuts down. So
as a leader, you got to be able to know your personnel, your personalities on the team, and you talked about it perfectly.
And for some teams, the dynamic is you have help as a leader. It's not just you. Whereas the Jordan Alphas, because it's like everyone's on my back. Either you're on or you're not here. That's why I think Jordan says something to that effect. Like, if you don't like to play that way, don't play that way, and you're not on that team. But other teams, and I'm thinking of like your Wizards team, is you had kind of a leadership committee. So whereas like you have Karan was kind of the diplomat in that sense, you were leading by example, but also learning how to keep things light and the chemistry there. Do you have help as a leader, Ben?
We have some other players who, even though they might not be the most talented, they know how to like talk to the players if they're like someone's having a bad game. But really, it's mostly me. It's me and my coach.
Okay.
So the coach takes a big leadership role in that too.
When it comes to like leadership, you have so many different kinds of leaders. Like we'll take, was it the 2004, Timberwolves, right?
With KG?
KG. KG's the alpha.
Yeah.
That alpha but he wasn't the leader.
Yeah.
That was Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell was the alpha. Sam Cassell was the guy who was gonna last 4 minutes, he's making everything happen. You know what I mean? Then you had, your Spreewells. You have different personality. Like some guys before games are silly. As a leader, you got to understand that, okay, he's silly, I'm serious. I can't let that, I can't that get me upset and say, okay, he's not ready to play. Some guys,
That's how they play.
That's a big misconception in sports. That like some players are really serious before game. They don't talk to me. They let me focus. Some guys are they're jokesters.
Yeah.
Like me, I was 50-50. Like I was never serious. Like I wasn't gonna be in there like, no, that's gonna be a shitty game.
Well, there's a real difference nowadays, because I know how you feel about this, is you were silly to an extent, but when you crossed that line, you locked in. You were focused.
Yeah, on the court.
But how about these guys now? You see this too, Ben, is shooting the arrows and posing after threes and all that stuff, where that's where the silliness becomes a distraction.
Okay, I look at that like, if it works for them, then it works for them.
But if you had a teammate doing that, would you be cool with it?
Depends on who it was.
If they're killing.
That's what I said. It depends on his personality. If his personality is that type of antics guy, then you take that antic away from him. What does he really have to motivate himself? Like no matter if they're doing it, that was part of Steph's thing. He shoots the free throw and he leaves the arm up, running down the court the whole time. That's his antics. That's what got him going.
Yeah.
So if he was like, you can see that when he only did it when he caught fire. And when he caught fire, it's a self booster. So, back then there was really no, you got your silly guys, joking and telling jokes at the end of the bench. It all depends. It's who you are.
Yeah, but then what happens when you're down a little bit, or there's something that you're going through and you're usually super intense? Like you need your teammates to pick you up.
It all depends.
I was gonna say there's different types of leaders. You might have that person who is like the motivator. You might have the person who, like a Steve Nash, who coordinates everything on the court. That's a form of leadership. Yeah. So there's different types of people that have different leadership qualities, I'd say. And again, you have to understand that, know who's who and what they do.
Yeah, if you look at like the staple of what a leader is in society's, notion, nobody would ever like the leader.
No.
Like if you just take the leaders of like the Jordans, the Kobes, the Bradys, you actually dissect their personalities, no one's gonna like them because they demand too much. They demand that everything is level 10, level 100. There's
all times.
All times.
Well,
so there's no slack.
There's some people don't want to make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's what separates leaders from the pack.
Some people just can't. Physically they can't, mentally they can't. So like Mamba mentality, right? Is the same thing as, so Mamba mentality is technically what everyone was watching on the documentary. That is, so, people didn't actually like Kobe's mentality because they couldn't, you gotta remember, if you don't understand what it takes to be the top, you're not gonna like the road that it's, there's no friends. You're not making friends on a way to be the greatest. So what ends up happening is the mentality is selfish because it's one of those mentalities. Listen, if I take 2,000 shots a day, you take 200 shots a day. Why am I passing you the ball? Why am I actually giving you the ball? That is actually the worst decision at that point. My bad shots are better than your good shots. And that mentality in team sports is really sometimes hard to digest because everyone actually thinks team sports should be fair. Everyone should be equal when everyone's not equal. Yeah. This is not.
You mentioned the Mamba mentality with Kobe, though. It wasn't like that for him at first. Obviously, he was young when he came into the league. Obviously, he had Shaq. He had another, I don't know if Shaq was an alpha in that way of what you were talking about, but it was Shaq's team at the time. When did that change for him where he became that hardwired tough guy? What are you smiling at?
I think
smiling.
he was always like that.
He was always like that. That was the
Yeah,
beef.
he was always like that, but then with Shaq out of the way,
You got to say,
it opened that
but
up.
gotta remember,
For him.
that was the real disconnect. That you have one guy who's alpha.
Mm-hmm.
We got big fella who's an alpha, two different alphas, but one is a workaholic alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's working to be great. One is gifted. So when they're sitting there looking who's the lion, one's stats and one's size says he's the alpha when the other one's like, nah.
You know,
I put in
the work.
I put in the work. How is this fair that I work my ass off 3-4 times a day? He practices for 15 minutes and then we're calling 5 down all the time. No. So the more success Kobe was having, eventually it came to that point where, all right, make a decision. Mm-hmm. Me or big fella? And, and that's always been his mentality. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at his mentality from high school to, it's been the same.
Just put in the work.
Put in the work and that's it.
Work is one thing, but also the confidence.
Well, confidence stems from the work that you put in. If you put in 1,000 shots a day and you're hitting those shots, you're confident in your shot, so that in the game you'll be able to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
So in your mind, it's already going in.
But but see, that's the problem with, I think coaches and outside, people. If you have a guy putting in 1,000 shots, 800 shots, and this and this, and you're telling him to play team ball, and you're telling him to sacrifice, for the betterment of the team. That mentality is sitting there like, I'm working to be the best ever, and you're telling me to downsize it, to give the ball up and make plays for people who don't even put in work. No, that's not what I'm gonna do. See, you want me as the Superman is to basically cook the whole meal for you. Cook it, display it, and then feed you the food. And then you can be like, yeah, you see how good I'm playing? Like, no,
I think that's where that resentment can come from, because it's like, okay, I have to be Superman every night. And you can be conditioned to it because you put the work in for that, but then you would like that support from your team. And then when you have it, it's kind of like when LeBron went to Miami. It was just like, man, this is beautiful because I'm prepared for all of it, but I don't have to do it all myself.
It's the illusion of teams themselves, like making players better. You can't make a Honda a Ferrari. The Honda has to do it itself. You have to put in the work, get your engine, and you are here. Like Steph Curry didn't make Clay better. Clay's practicing made Clay better. When KD got there, KD didn't make Curry better. Curry didn't make KD better. You got now Bugattis on the same court playing with each other. You know what I mean? It's not like we're building. It's not like they built up some damn. He came into the league and he averaged 2 points, and we're like, all right, I'm gonna hook you up, and now you're averaging 25 with us. No, that's not how that shit happens. Yeah. I mean, Patrick Beverley's played with James Harden, right? He has Kawhi with him now. Paul George. How many? Is he averaging any more points? No, because that's not his role.
It's not his role.
It's not his role, so he's not practicing. But that's what I'm saying. It's like they're not making his game better. They're just all playing great together.
And we're here with Ben Gill, and we've talked about you had a hell of a couple of years, starting as a freshman point guard on a veteran team, sophomore year, putting the team on your back a bit, and averaging 20 plus a game. Mm-hmm. What was the greatest challenge you've had so far?
I think the mental part of the game for me. Other than I always put in the work. I always try to get bigger, try to get more athletic, put in that. But that wasn't a challenge for me because I love to work. Mm-hmm. Challenge was developing that alpha dog mentality and putting the team on my back when I needed to. And sometimes during the season, caused some problems. We had some chemistry issues, and we had to work through that and find a median, kinda. So that was kind of a challenge.
That's private school. Find a median. What? There was no,
That's well prepared.
It's easier for me, like.
It's also the modern athlete.
But you gotta remember, on every level, it's you gotta remember when you're here, it's either get on this train or get off the train. Yeah. You know, sorry my French, but you know, like if I'm averaging 40 and you guys are saying, yo, you're not passing me the ball, okay, like get the rebound, get it off the glass. When I do give it to you, do something with it. Because obviously, I'm shooting this many shots for a reason. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just saying, oh yeah, I know you can shoot the hell out of these threes, and I'm just gonna be like, let me go in here and make these layups. No, there's a reason. Yeah. You know, there's a reason. So, you know, it's like either we all get on the same page. If you can't keep up, this is just not the race for you. You might want to transfer. You know, because if you don't know how to be great with me, it's, you know what I mean? Like Westbrook goes to Houston. Did James Harden take a back seat? No. 34 a game. Westbrook is like, I don't even care about the 34. I'm still gonna average 27. Yeah. Yeah, he's averaging 34 and 27. Great players will figure it out.
I think a lot of times people who aren't as good, they feel like it should be handed to them, maybe.
That's exactly.
And that's kind of the problem I had this year with my team. A lot of times people thought like they deserved the shot just because they're on the team.
Yeah.
And that sparked problems because I was shooting a lot.
And that's usually the problem, that, you know, it's that idea. It's the idea that's been put in our brains that, you know, the best player makes everyone better. But when you break that whole theory down, it's basically saying that I'm gonna cook the meal, I'm gonna fix it up, and I'm gonna put it in your mouth, and you're just gonna chew and swallow. Like, that's not how this works. Like, you make your own meals. You make your own meals just like me. I'm cooking and doing all this myself. I'm putting in the work. I'm conditioned. I'm doing exactly what it takes for me to be here. Do the same thing. Don't just let me go here and say.
But what if they don't? The reality is they probably don't do the same thing, especially if you're on this higher level.
But that's why they don't get the ball. Like, you know, and that's.
But then you're gonna hear from them. That's the problem. How do you solve that problem? You're still gonna hear from them. What's your answer to them when they're saying, I want shots? Everybody wants the ball, right? That's the reality of everyone wants touches. What's the answer?
Just like somebody with a hearing aid, you turn it off. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
at the end of the day,
Ben, what's your answer?
Well,
that's what he's trying to figure out.
That's the problem that we have. I've come to this thought now during the summer mentally, is that I want to be great. I want to make it to the league. That's my goals. And I'm going to do whatever I need to accomplish that goal. And if that means I have to shoot every shot, I got to shoot every shot, you know?
All you do is just go into the season and say, listen, everyone can't get 30 shots. But if you're telling me to trust you more, show me.
You have to show me.
Show me. This is not one of those things where we're just going to go into the games and you're saying, give up this shot for we are called a better shot because you're open. Have you been putting in work for you to be open? You know what I mean? Like PJ Tucker, the reason he gets that ball,
he's proven that
because he's proven he can make it. You know what I mean? So prove to me, like let's show each other. You see the work I'm putting in, show me the work you're putting in. How many shots are you taking? You know what I mean? How many shots, when are you taking these shots? Are you, just give me the confidence to believe in you.
And the reality is, the ball will find those players, right? So it's like if they put in the work, they'll have their moment to prove it. And that's the great part about team sports in basketball, is because for a guy like PJ, he knows to get to the corner, the ball will swing and get to him, and he's confident in his ability to knock that down. He's not trying to ISO guys like James would, but on a team, okay, James, that's what you do. I'm gonna do what I do and get to the corner.
So you don't have to really, it's not that you have to sacrifice your greatness, right? The sacrifice is saying, all right, listen, if we're gonna come to a happy medium here, the medium is everyone just gets better. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're a three-point shooter, shoot more threes. Shoot more threes, get better, shoot 300, shoot 400. So when I'm coming down and I make that pass, I know it's cash money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I know when I make that pass, I can just turn around and put my hand up because I know it's going in because I've seen you shoot that hundreds of times. You know, and that's the confidence that, because even in the NBA, in the NBA, I had players that they're double teaming me and they're like, pass me the ball. For what? For what? To give it back to me? You should be ashamed that they're leaving you to come double me. You should be ashamed that we're at the highest level of sports and they're doubling off of you. I'm passing to you so you can pass the shit right back. Like that's you should be embarrassed. You know, like, cause if you're not embarrassed that you're a professional player making $10, $12 million and they want you to shoot the ball. Like they're doubling me so I can pass it to you so you can shoot that brick. That's that's the reason I didn't pass to you, because we all know that's gonna be a brick. So you need to start working on your jumper because obviously they're leaving you for a reason.
And then I'll be able to trust you to hit it.
Yeah.
All right, it's that time, Ben. It's As Asian Zero time. And I know Ben came in today equipped, so Gil, you're up.
My 3 questions? I actually have them on my phone. Let me get them.
Oh, right. Told you, homework. That's one thing to come on No Chill. You got to do your homework.
Okay.
I was gonna say, how were you able to develop mentally? What allowed you to become? Because I know I've listened to it, how you talk. What helped you develop that part of your game?
The mental aspect of it, you know, being mentally strong is going through adversity. You know, hearing someone say you can't do it and you do it. You know what I mean? Just realizing, you know, that no matter what a score is, down 20, down 30, the confidence of getting that win by any means necessary. You know, carrying your team on the shoulder, you know, making, starting varsity with all seniors as a freshman. You know, this team, everyone left, I'm by myself and take it on my back. They said we were gonna lose. So the mentality is created through adversity of what you're going through. You know what I mean? So that confidence, you can't knock the confidence down because I done did it all. I done seen it. Like how many freshmen is gonna say you got a whole senior class and you up there sitting there rolling with it. You know, everyone left, said we wasn't gonna make it and we went to the 3rd round. You know, so the confidence is built through, these impossible, missions that you put me on and I just, okay, there you go. You know, that's what I said, like with me, it was like, no one ever made it to the NBA from the Valley. And I'm like, I'm gonna make it. You know what I mean? Just like everyone else said it. And then once I made it, he was like, but you was like a 2nd round. Oh, that's what you want to throw out now. First I wasn't gonna make it. Now I'm a 2nd round. Let me get off this bit. And then, just boom, 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 boom. And then it became my cockiness because you guys are not as good as they said you were. And that's what it is. You might be talented, but because you don't have it here, I'm just gonna eat through that. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. It was just Tasmanian devil.
Okay, another one that I had is, so someone like you, you're watching the younger players. What are you looking for? Or like, what are the most important things that you want to see in a?
The most important thing is this is what they want to do. It's not something that the parents want them to do. It's not something that I'm just out here having fun with the friends. It's something that this is what they want to do. I mean, you have, gifted players that because they're gifted, that they can exceed and just have this cakewalk through life, on, sports and athletics. Then you have guys who work it. You want the workers because you gotta remember, if they're gifted too, they're the GOATs. You know what I mean? That's where the GOATness comes from, where, the Michael Jordans and all this, because they're physically more gifted, plus they have this blue collar work ethic, it it pushes them above. So does the kid have the work ethic?
Yeah.
No matter what his talent, does he have the work ethic? Does he want to be here?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to like force somebody to be somewhere they really don't want to be. That's why I tell parents, I say, hey, listen, hold on. Before you yell at him, and does he actually want to play the sport? Does he want to be great?
Mm-hmm.
Because if he wants to be great, you don't have to force him.
He'll do it on his own.
They're gonna do it on his own. They're gonna wake up 2, 3 in the morning and say, hey, can you drive me over here? I want to get some shots up. You know what I mean? Wake up at 5, bouncing the ball. They got to tell you, hey, stop that shit. That's what you should be saying as a parent. To stop, to turn the TV down.
Yeah.
Nobody want to hear the game. That's the kind of kid you want. You want to be able to. All you doing as a parent is just driving him to the places he want to go.
Mm-hmm.
He want to go to Santa Monica. Okay, let's go. I got to get him a car, whatever you got to do, because he's so obsessed with trying to be great.
Yeah.
And that's what parents. Just growing up in the era where, if the parents don't see your dream, it's the reason that kid still makes it is because it was his dream. He was still obsessed with it. No matter if a guy who's dancing all the time, and then he becomes Chris Brown and this buddy, because he's obsessed with just that whole thing about it. So it's just what I'm looking for is, are they obsessed?
Mm-hmm.
Are they willing to be obsessed? Are they willing to get better? Or what is their, if it's pure talent or work ethic? You know what I mean? I'll take the work ethic over the pure talent. Like with you, what helps you is, let's say you're 5'11" with this attitude, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's taller, but then you become 6'3", 6'4". Now you're taking a 6'3", 6'4" person with this little man's mentality. Yeah. Now he's unstoppable. You know what I mean? Because now he's just as big and physical as everyone, but he has this dog mentality. Like he has this dog. It's like, he was a Chihuahua just, barking. Now he's the actual pit bull.
Yeah. I have one more. I actually just thought of this.
On the spot, I like it.
So you're saying you weren't ranked till senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what sort of things did you do when you were younger that helped you push through, being the underdog?
See, this is a different time versus back when I played. When I played, there was only 2 AAU programs. It was the Cavs, and then you had the Pumps. But to get to the Pumps, you had to play ARC at North Hollywood. So first, everyone was Park League. So, I'm the best player in my park, and then you hey man, you should go try out for the ARC. And then you get the ARC, and then from there, so it was like this stepping stone of, LA, and then it was like my boy lives in LA, man, the comp out there. So then you got to drive to Venice Beach and drive to, so what ends up happening is you get killed by the LA guy. Now you're angry because, how is this guy that good at a younger age? How do I catch him? So what ended up happening is the underdog wasn't truly underdog here. It was underdog to what was out there. I can see here, I can see all the players here. It was the unknown of all this greatness, that I couldn't see, and that fueled me. It paranoid me. You got 8th graders windmilling, 9th graders head at the rim, and I'm like, I haven't even learned how to dunk yet. Is that, I remember when I first met Carlos Boozer, I thought he was a count counselor. A college kid, he's sitting there 6'9", 245, and then he says, I'm a player, I'm a sophomore. And I'm like, it almost killed me. This is what an NBA player is. I have no hope. And then watched his first game, broke the backboard. So it's it's like, Jesus Christ. So now you're just watching talent, and you're like, the only thing I have for me is they don't even know who I am to fail. So let me just start studying. And then I just started studying everybody. Started studying their weaknesses. And then because you gotta remember, when you're playing against somebody, if you don't know them, everything is, they have their whole arsenal. But when you start breaking it down and say, wait, hold on, he can't do this, this, his ranking to you goes lower. Because you're like, the only reason that he looked good because no one knows this is what he does. You take this away, he has no other game.
To finish out that thought, because there are great players and you recognize you play against LeBron, great player. But what you have to do is you have to find something in him, something you could take away, a weakness, a weak spot.
That it's the, no matter if you know a guy's weakness, you still have to perfect it. And what I mean by is like Kobe. I knew Kobe couldn't move left or right as fast as I can, right? So, but I knew I couldn't do the same move twice because he'd catch the movement that I did to get him the first time. So if you see any clips, you'll see I'll cross him over to left or right the first time, go. Second time, load up right to left, right? I wouldn't do those two moves again anymore. If I did a crossover, it'd probably be in and out fake cross, and get him shifty because I knew and then once I go. So you couldn't, with a young Kobe, you couldn't, what James Harden does, you couldn't do him like that. He will gravitate to your whole bounce, 1, 2, 3, shift, 1, 2. He'll figure that out. So it was just get to the point. So it was one of those, he's Kobe, top defender, this and this. But in my element, he's no defender to me. You know what I mean? And that's how I was having success against those guys, like the Raja Bales and, the Matrix and, Bruce Bowens. I'm taking their strength and their weakness, and then I'm only keeping them in their weakness. So no matter how great you think you are, I'm gonna sit there and poke the whole theory out of your, you know what I mean? And that's what I was doing.
You know what I think, Gil? I think we have another Valley killer on our hands.
Yes, sir.
I think the game is in a good place. Ben Shtolzberg, thanks for coming on No Chill.
Thank you.
Got a great head on your shoulders. You're getting the reps in now. You set the bar high for yourself, but those are within reach, so we just can't wait to watch what next
tell
season
them, listen,
brings.
It's high goals for your talent. Tell them it ain't high for me, man. Tell them, you work out too much for it to be high. It's it's right there.
I'm already past that window.
It's just a process. I got my junior year, my senior year, and then boom.
And then come back and show us what you did.
Yeah, of course.
Because we'll be watching.
Yeah, we go right before you get to the draft. We got you.
Got you. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. That's Gilbert Arenas. I'm Mike Botticello. Don't forget, you can catch us every Monday at 8 o'clock on Fubo. We'll see you next time.